Hey there, guys. Welcome back to where the hell this is. Welcome one, welcome all, welcome none, none at all. Alright, looks like we're in good shape here. Well, slow day. Still annoyed about having to have done my Schizoid Saturday on a Sunday this weekend. Man, I enjoyed reading all the entries you guys sent. The submissions were awesome. I was actually pretty happy about them. A lot of good stuff in it. Just wasn't a lot of people watching that day, so I don't know. I haven't checked if it got any views as a POV, but POV. VOD, you know. And so we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully the people that submitted it at least get to watch it. At least that's like part of the hope there. But yeah, next time I think if I have to move it, I'll just move it to the next weekend. I'm not gonna do it on Sunday. It just seems like a kind of a waste of the use of the submissions and stuff, especially when there's good ones and there's plenty of them. What else? Until a few more people get here. Nothing's changed. My job got a little bit more stressful, but nothing crazy. I can handle it. Some new stuff. Just waiting for summer to end so I can get my my volition back a little bit more. It's really, really hard for me to get motivated to do much that's productive during summer. Kind of just kills everything, energy-wise. So I kind of just go through the motions and then just veg out. Just do stupid shit that's not productive in the evening. So this weather changes. I don't feel so looking down and out. Anyway. Today is, hey, nobody's here. Did I ping it? Usually there'd be at least 5, 6 people in here by now. Oh, it doesn't look like it today. Yeah, it's a Tuesday, but still even then. Oh, there we go. Got 2 more. Today is, for those that don't already know, a topical or topical tragedy Tuesday. So it's usually the day where I have a topic or something that's been rattling around in my big ass head, and when nobody's here, hell yeah, Don. Maybe when schizoids join and actually negatives the tally. The the topic that's rattling around in my brain today has to do with the title, which is Monkey See, Monkey Don't. Right? And there's like a set of behaviors that I would say is pretty common amongst human beings. In fact, it's like expected. And one of those is like this kind of propensity to imitate, to do a lot of imitation. And I always found it interesting, and I actually didn't know that was, well, I mean, I could see people doing it, even as a kid, but I didn't know that was like a, like, I see articles like, oh, you know, part of being human is this, and, you know, that's one thing that's always kind of bothered me, is that I would see articles or studies, and they would, like, make these statements about, like, what motivates people and behavior and stuff, and, like, a lot of it just never, like, it didn't vibe with me. I was just like, okay, I guess I'm an outlier or something, or I don't know, I don't get it. Because I would, like, you know, I'd be like, oh, on average, humans, oh, on average, you know, according to sociologists, like, and like a lot of that information, just like, I would see it, I would be like, okay, I've observed that behavior quite a bit, but I haven't participated in much of it, because of disinterest, or just like, there was just no reward from doing it for my brains. And so I always found those kinds of studies, those kinds of things interesting, but not relatable. And I was looking at an older study. I think it was from, I still have the tab open. It's called causal knowledge and imitation emulation switching in chimpanzees and children. Basically, they had like a box, and then they would show like both the chimps and the kids that like there would be a treat inside, right? And so what they would show them is, oh, you tap the box with like the stick, and then you open the box and you can get the treat, right? And I guess children and chimps, both, well, no, actually, both when initially shown, like, the process, they would imitate it every time. Like, they would almost never actually attempt to open the box without picking up the stick and tapping the box, which was just like it wasn't really, didn't do anything, but they saw it as part of the process. Yeah. And once, this is what I found interesting. Once and this was like 3 to 4 year old children, and the chimps were from like an African sanctuary. Yeah, like, yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that funny? Yes, like each chest animation. I was gonna tell you that. Actually, you know what? I don't even know why I'm like this, so I could let you guys talk or whatever. One second. There, you guys can talk if you want now.
Morning.
What's up? So, yeah. So the idea, yeah, they did a cage, a box tap, which is kind of funny, and you know, the both the chimps and the children would copy it. But then, when they showed more transparently to the chimps that it's not necessary to tap it with a stick to get the treat inside, that you can just open it, they opted in for imitating that behavior because they saw it gave you the treat anyway, and the tapping was no longer of any use. Right? But the children still, they saw that and they still wanted to tap it.
So because it was like some social thing and they didn't want to be left out?
Yeah, it had some elements of that. It had some elements of, what was it? Like, there was something they were getting out of replicating the other individual's process that motivate them to ignore a more efficient route to get the treat they wanted. So obviously there's the idea of just the social component of this kind of I mean that's interesting too, ritual, right? But it doesn't have to be religious. A lot of actions we participate in, Don, are ritual. They're just secular, more or less. A lot of conventions, a lot of traditions, a lot of common sense, as it's called in many ways. But I found that difference really interesting. So that choice was being made by the child that could see. And they did other stuff too, like, what is it? They did some stuff with with puppets or something. I'm not too sure. But basically the idea was that the humans have a higher propensity to replicate irrational behavior or non-efficient behavior that is in line with the other humans they're trying to mimic, even when they discover that something more efficient is available. It's like this kind of aversion to change a process that they know works at the risk that this new process, doesn't have necessarily the same likelihood. Maybe like if they only see it be done once, maybe if they see it multiple times, sure. But the reason I bring this up and the reason I've been thinking about it is I was thinking about my own childhood, how even pretty early I was always observing more than doing, and most of the time I go to when I was learning things, whatever it was, when a new thing happened, a new thing appeared, a new activity or experience. I have pretty strong memories as a kid of watching it first. Never wanted to be the first person to do it, always watching. And then making some kind of basic decision on how I wanted to do it, or if I wanted to do it at all. Before taking any action. So, whether it was a game or if other little kids would be like, hey, do you want to play this game? Unless I knew what the game was, I wasn't interested in trying it right away. I just wanted to see what it was. I would always be interested in seeing what it was, but not actually doing it right away. And then once I saw it be played, or whatever the pretend play was as a kid, I think then I would go, oh, I'll participate in this way that I think would be good for me, that I would like. Or I would just be like, no, I don't like that. Or I just didn't find it stimulating or interesting. And I would just go do something somewhere by myself, play with bugs or some shit. And that kind of thing continued with me for most of my life. And it affected, obviously, social things. It affected a lot of, what's the word on that? Participation for sure, but I was looking for a different word. I just put it made me more cautious in many ways. But in any case, as the activities became more complex as you get older, I started just paying attention more to them if I was interested in seeing them. And it's interesting because in that same study they talk about how adults, that kind of still continues. It's just the idea that it gets more complex than merely hitting a stick on a box. And yes, of course, religious rituals are a good example of a sort of seeing other human beings do something and then just mimicking, and it being intuitive and natural to do so. And I guess my point is, for me, it never felt very intuitive and natural to just mimic people. In fact, I think oh, go ahead.
To me, it feels intuitive to mimic people just so, I can learn, things. Not necessarily for a social component. And I'm just spitballing here. right?
Mhm.
Like I'm just spitballing. A kid would do it because it feels like they would be included in the group. That's just something I've come to guess people value,
Yeah.
and so I could be totally wrong.
I don't know. I wanted to know what maybe the experience of other schizoids and stuff here might be like. Do you have any memories earlier in life that you were just kind of watching and things, and doing the whole watching, not doing initially before making any decision to
I
do?
still people watch all the time, so I just don't do it for a social component.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I was people watching. I didn't have this like pull to merely replicate what I first saw be done. I feel like I would look for mistakes or something. Or
I mean, yeah, but also no. Like information gathering would be my like whole thing.
yeah. Like if I saw I feel like memories like if I saw a game like the goal hold on, I've got air in my mouth. I think like as a kid I wasn't interested in very many sports or many games out that were outside and running around because I know I remember as a kid just thinking, but I'm gonna get all sweaty and tired, and at the end you don't win anything, nothing happens. Why am I gonna do that? And then the kids would be like, "Oh, let's play," and I'd be like, "What?" And I'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna, I don't know, like catch with a glove and two gloves and a baseball or something." I'd be like, "No, that doesn't sound like it's gonna do anything. Why would I do that?" And I just wouldn't do it. Or I would say, I don't want to. I wouldn't explain everything. It's just in my head. I just thought it's pointless. For me, at least.
I like the mechanical nature of physical activity. Like I started appreciating gym when I was in middle school and high school because it was fun to be able to like feel my body and like react and like just I don't know exercise.
You actually could enjoy that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I now understand the enjoyment that can come from physical exertion. Obviously, as I got older, but when I was a kid and I didn't quite understand, the health related, the all the things that come, the benefits that come with physical exertion and exercise and stuff. As a kid, I think I just saw it as like just a pointless activity that I didn't want to do because I found it pointless. Because I didn't understand as a child that there was benefit. You get me? But
Oh well, I would have been the person that decided it had value. It's not I trusted people for it.
yeah. No, I'm not saying what you said. I'm just telling you what I thought.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I
Okay.
kind of like agree with you in that same sentiment. It's just that you didn't find anything and I did find something, but it wasn't. We relegated that.
Oh, I see.
Importance to someone else.
Yeah, like I tried stuff like that, and then I felt tired, and it was hot some days, and I got sweaty, and I think I made the decision because I didn't understand the benefits. Yeah, I don't feel this didn't feel good. Why am I doing it? Or this feels like now I'm just uncomfortable. Why am I doing this? This is dumb. I'm gonna go back to doing like playing pretend by myself, or with maybe one other kid, or reading my watching a cartoon, or usually it was playing pretend, and like if I'm gonna run around and stuff, I want to play pretend. I don't want to throw a ball. And so I would kind of do that. It's just it's interesting though, because like it seems like the other kids, because maybe I don't know, maybe they're motivated by that sort of play aspect with like, oh, this kind of intuitiveness to want to play with other children, to play, and that like that's the motivation, that you're playing with other people. not the activity itself necessarily, especially like when you're little. Maybe that wasn't like something automatic for me. Like my parents had to force me into those positions, and I hated them. Things like putting me in the Boy Scouts and putting me in Little League Baseball. I hated every minute of it. I didn't understand why I was doing any of it. And then it made me kind of resent that stuff. Huh? Go ahead.
Yay for watching and trying to make sense of why the activity or whatever else it is interesting to someone else, and failing to understand that.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand it much better now, but yeah, when I was a kid, it just didn't make any sense to me, and I couldn't make sense of it, and I didn't have the metacognition or the ability to kind of really contextualize things a lot better. So it just looked dumb and pointless to me. And this kind of followed me throughout from a lot of my life with many things, like even watching sports, right? Like I just never was interested in it. I now respect it, but before I used to actually have like a distaste for it, like an aversion to it. Just like, why would I want to sit there and watch people do something I already find to be like entirely pointless? That's how like I would feel in my early 20s or something, my late teens. Most of my late teens. I would say my teens, I was like, yeah, okay. And then I hated PE because they were making me do these things that I didn't want to do. And more than I hated having to do the academic work that I didn't want to do. Because at least in that case, I could like do it faster and get it out of the way, and PE would take longer.
Starting to think there's a correlation with, I don't know, maybe if other people relate to this, because I relate to autistic thinking, but on that same thing, I enjoy being connected to my body more.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that you very clearly do not.
Well, I when I was, I got a lot better at that, but yeah. I would say
even,
I definitely wasn't.
There's a few different things that kind of like set me off to that. Like, for example, the PE. You dislike the feeling of summer for the exact opposite reason why I enjoy the feeling of summer.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
I don't know how often other people relate to that. Maybe it's a thought process. Maybe it's some other philosophy that's going on.
Yeah, I mean,
Usually things that make me feel connected to my body, I enjoy.
I like, because the reason it's so important to me to think back about how I felt regarding this stuff when I was a kid is because I at that point I didn't develop really the complex thinking to really introspect on why I was doing what I was doing when it came to like basically declining activities, liking things, disliking things. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel correct in my little kid head. So it's weird that I'm displaying these kinds of behaviors like unconsciously early in life. And so to me that like tells me something. And I'm wondering, like I said, I'm wondering if there's a lot of schizoids out there that might have had a similar experience. Maybe not with that in particular, like physical activity or something, but like other types of behavior that would be pretty easy for another child to want to replicate. Like that like it was also, yes, of course, it was also the social components, right? So I know that there was a ton of times where, you know, because I would be hanging out with the other boys in junior high, elementary school, and of course, like, there was always this kind of like, oh, I dare you to do this, or I dare you to do that stuff. And yeah, I remember like being dared to do things, and I would be like, I'd just be like, why am I going to do that? I could get hurt.
I was always up for a dare.
And then, and they would be like, nah, just do it. Like, don't be, you know, punk, whatever. And I would be like, I don't care what you call me. I'm not doing that. and I would ask, what are you going to give me? And if they weren't going to give me anything, then I'm definitely not doing it, because if I'm not getting anything for it, why am I going to do it? It's dumb. Why am I taking a risk if there's no reward of any kind? And I guess usually there's a social reward, right? Because if you take the risk and then you succeed, then you get praise from your peers.
That's crazy to me, because that makes sense as an adult, knowing that the things I know and, you know, thinking about why people do things the way they do. But I've always been up for a dare, and it has never had anything to do with having praise or having like.
Why would you do the dares?
Because it's the challenge, like the thrill of the challenge. Like it's something innate that I find value in.
Yeah.
I enjoy being challenged for my own sake.
I like challenges, but maybe I was averted to like the idea of a challenge that was being given to me by other people or something, and it was a challenge that was kind of arbitrary. I don't know.
I didn't care too much if someone else gave me the challenge.
Yeah, I think that did matter to me in some way. Hold on, my daughter. I gotta tell her goodnight. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe I were different like that. Maybe it did matter to me, because I was actually gonna kind of shift into this other, how it kind of carried over later for me. It had to do with like I developed like a conscious aversion toward things that a lot of people were doing in my teenage years, in my early 20s. It was just like I would like, you know, not intentionally not liking mainstream things, intentionally. Hold on a second. Jeez.
I wonder how much of that plays into like PDA. Because I didn't really struggle with PDA as a child. For those of you unaware, PDA
Sorry.
is
Go ahead. I'm back.
pervasive development, or pervasive. What was it?
That was public displays of affection.
No. The
Is
other
immediately
one.
what I thought also.
No, not that
So-
one. It's persistent. Pervasive demand avoidance, or something like that, or persistent demand avoidance. I think it was pervasive.
There's pervasive demand avoidance. There's persistent drive for autonomy.
Yeah, I like that one. That's like the people that
I
have
never really
PDA.
had an issue with that when I was a kid, but also because, like, to me, like, half the reason why I have schizoid personality disorder, maybe not half, but like just a core part aspect of why I developed it, is this, like, I feel completely isolated from people, so there wasn't this development of PDA in me, because I didn't feel that connection they could make anyway. It didn't feel like it was there, so there was nothing they could like take away from me. Usually,
yeah, like you didn't feel like your autonomy could be stripped.
yeah, I usually didn't feel like it was being stripped because I didn't feel connected.
I definitely felt that stuff. I definitely felt my autonomy being stripped away from me, and that's kind of what made me so misanthropic, and also what made me so like contrarian. When I was younger, I was just so contrarian. Like, there's, oh, you think it's good? I think it's bad. Oh, it makes you happy? It makes me mad. Like, it's just this kind of thing where, oh, a lot of people like it. I definitely hate it. Because I just associated people and their motivations and them liking something with something negative. And so, yeah, it would be... I would be that person that was, like, 21, and I would like a band a lot, and then, like, their third or second album came out, and that one became, like, a hit single on the radio, and it started being played everywhere, and then I fucking hated that album now. Now I stopped listening to it.
I was like that with my father, but pretty much not anyone else.
I was like that with almost everything. I hated it when like something became too popular that I liked, because then I had to hear other people talk about it, and I think that was the problem. I had to hear all these different people, or I would have to actively hear people that I couldn't stand talking about this thing that I liked, and I guess it made me like.
And there was no social motivation to allure you back into liking the thing.
Like, to me, it was like, it just made no sense that, like, because something is popular, people want to, like, they're bound to like it more. Like, that's never made sense to me. I understand it, but yeah, it's never been something. I think it's the same reason why I was never all that interested in, like, looking at reviews for things. Usually when I would buy, the Nintendo Power, IGN, whatever magazine when I was a kid, I was more interested in the screenshots, and I was also interested in the description of how the game was and what the story was. But like the parts where the person was complaining about like the scores and stuff, yeah, it was never like super interesting to me. It was never something that like made me want to buy the magazine to know, oh, is this game good or is it bad? I would kind of decide that if the game was interesting or not based on the magazine screenshots and what the story is supposed to be. I don't know. Yeah, because I remember I got called out on it, like I think it was like junior year of high school. Somebody I was like hanging out with, like playing a game or something, their house with somebody else, their friend or something. They had like a game I wanted to play, and I had come over or something. And I remember like I was just like, it was like they wanted to play this one game, and I was like, oh, okay, let me try that out. I want to try it out. Cool, sounds cool. And then they wanted to put like another game in or something that was like really popular at the time. And I remember like just being like, oh, I don't want to play that. You know, like, that shit's stupid, blah, blah, blah. And I started just kind of, like, naming off the reasons why it was bad. But a lot of it, I think, was just motivated by all the reasons that people kept saying it was good. And, I remember they told me, like, you're just going against the grain just to go against it. And I remember that, like, annoyed me, but it was kind of, like, I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of true.
It
But I
annoyed
didn't
you,
understand.
but then something in you was like, you know, I agree with that innately. So
Yeah, I was just like, that makes sense, but I didn't understand why I felt the way. So then I started thinking, like, why am I like this? Like, why do I just, like, don't like things just because a lot of people like them? And I couldn't figure it out, obviously. And I mean, I think over the years I worked on it. Because I'm like, okay, who cares? Like, who cares what because it turned into, who gives a shit what people think? Like, if I like it, I'll like it. If it's popular, who cares that it's popular? Like, I had shifted my thinking toward more that direction over the years. So here, Khalil, my family would tease me on contrarianism all the time. Yeah, I think I got a little bit of that for sure. Sometimes it was contrarianism, sometimes it wasn't. I don't know.
Specifically, if your family teased you about contrarianism, I feel like that's even more likely that you would be a contrarian, because I'm guessing the family is where the whole disorder started with the PDA. And it wasn't necessarily from other people. It started from...
Well, I don't know if I had PDA, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to say that.
Well, okay, but like this, like feeling
sort of traits
taken away from you.
Yeah, the autonomy thing. Yeah.
So like, it's one
from
thing if a stranger were to tell me I'm being a contrarian. Like, I would take that into consideration more than I would take that from my family, because my family is kind of the issue of why I like feel the need to be contrarian.
Yeah. You're right. If one of my family members would have told me that same thing, I would have just disregarded it. But it was someone that knew me far less. So that means that they're just observing behavior and calling it. Interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Any input? Anybody out there listening? Or anybody here? Like, did you guys just... Do you remember? Like, did you replicate behavior?
So, I myself don't recall much of that, but I will say what you described prior to that last discussion there was almost exactly what I believe would be considered survival rationalization.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a payout or does it not? And if not, or if not significant enough, do I care?
Yeah. But would it be survival rationalization if it was something that was still unproductive, but I thought I enjoyed it, so there was a reward, and so I did it? Like, I didn't think, like, sitting down playing video games had some really cool, or reading Spider-Man comics had some really cool, practical component to it. It was more like, I like this. I'm gonna do this, not that.
I don't know. That is, I believe, nonetheless, though, that weighing of those two things is what that would be. The question then becomes why.
Did you do that stuff growing up?
To be honest, I don't know if I did when I was younger. I know that I do now.
For sure.
I can't attest to whether or not I did when I was younger, but I know that I do to several degrees now.
Brian Hansen says kind of did it. It's also like, I think a lot of the reason why growing up, like, I did get some teasing of like, oh, you never want to do anything, you don't like anything, you never want to do anything, you don't like anything. And it was kind of funny because I remember when I would hear somebody tell me I don't like anything, I would just think, you're stupid, I like a lot of things. Like, I probably like I would get mad and I'd be like, I probably like more things than you've ever liked.
Yeah, and then they pull out a Uno-verse card and start saying they like all the things that you like without, like, you saying that you like them. And they're, like, just trying to prove you wrong because they already knew the cards beforehand.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, see, you don't like anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like... Yeah, I got some of that, like, from, like, peers, and then, like, school. I remember, like, I would get really excited when, like, in elementary or junior high, when there was the book club thing happened, and, like, you know, the book fair, there you go, and I would get really excited about that. Yeah, I was, like, super hyped every time. And, like, I don't know, it was weird, because, like, I would buy the books, and I'd be like, oh, yes, I'm, like, super excited. And going to the library was, like, super fun, because I would buy, like, borrow books with, like, crazy, weird stuff in it. And like, novel things. And I would get teased for not wanting to engage in something or another, because I liked sitting there looking at the thing, or reading the thing, and then imagining stuff in my head. Like, so much more. Don, I wasn't actively contrarian so much as passively non-participatory. I didn't engage socially or compare notes with others. It was mostly in my head, in a book, or in 3 grainy black and white TV channels. Oh. Yeah, the contrarianism for me didn't, like, kick off until, like, probably, like, high school. Like, it started getting really bad. Before that, it was just more like a passive non-participatory thing. I would say, yeah, like, when I was in elementary school and before that, in junior high even, it was more like, no, I don't want to. No thanks. I didn't have, like, a disdain or even a conception of popular things were bad yet. Like, in my mind. That hadn't happened yet. I think it probably developed because I got teased and bullied and bothered more often because of my nature of not wanting to do a lot of the things that people around me were interested in doing. And it was probably a reaction to those consequences, that misanthropy, and so on. Just so crazy. I used to be like, I remember, like, in early 20s, I think I used to be very anti-natalist. And here I have 2 kids now. just because it was like everyone just put so much importance in having a baby. And it was like, oh, it's such an important thing. Everyone wants to have a baby. Everyone wants to have a family. Everyone. And so, like, in my head, it's like, oh, I must not want to do any of those things. Because those things that's just icky. People do them. I don't want to do the things that everyone's doing. That's part of it. But it was also, but again, it was all tied to that fear of losing my autonomy. So I would come up with all these rationalizations as to why trying to make a family or have kids or getting married or any of that stuff was like really bad and stupid, and everyone was stupid for it. And it was like I obviously questioned that so much growing up, because I'm just thinking how much of that was just trauma and defenses, like, and me like post hoc rationalizing a bunch of shit. That's interesting. I think schizoids do a lot of post hoc rationalization that they're not aware of. Like, because of trauma and stuff, a variety of things. Because of insecurity and trauma and just frustration, maybe. I think there's a lot of that going on. Because I hear a lot of it. Whether it's on the server or other people. And the reason I hear it is because I relate to it when I hear it. What I grew up with. Everyone wants this. Everyone does that. But because everyone, like, I'd assume, because if you're a schizoid growing up, you're thinking everyone is people I don't connect to, I don't care about, I find annoying. They do activities I find frustrating and confusing. They bother me because I don't participate in those activities to the degree that they want me to. They have, rituals that don't make sense to me, but I have to do them anyway. And so, yeah, it makes full sense why a neurodivergent kid with that level of just frustration, if they have the personality type especially, would kind of develop a sort of contrarian, misanthropic. If would you say, Duck? If I don't, then I'm not everyone. I'm not anyone. Yeah, because being one of them is a bad thing. Because they are bad things. Huh. So fun. The idea of like,
That's definitely an interesting way to look at it.
yeah, it's just interesting to think of, if you're talking about like object stuff, object theory shit, like a lot of schizoids be like bad objecting, like their entire species.
I mean, I had a struggle with that with my sexuality for a long time, because there was an issue of, because sex could could inflict suffering on some people, that I could have these feelings myself. It just made me have this intense disgust towards other people and myself, and maybe want to repress it.
So like the fear or the disgust with the idea that like you may share some of these like weird impulses or urges that would hurt somebody. Yeah.
I share these things that I believe as bad object in other people.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
For a while.
I can imagine, like, that reminds me of something though. I don't think it's the same thing at all, but it reminds me of that thing I talked about in a previous stream where I said that it seems to me that a lot of autists, like when they tend to have a certain level of like paranoia, they tend to look at like data and information that's out there and available and as being like, said to be of a good quality or whatever, and then getting percentages, and then becoming afraid of those percentages, as if like their own like volition.
Yeah, but this wasn't in particular the percentage. It was that there was a percentage.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. It wasn't specific, but it's just that idea of most. I don't know. It's just like most rapes are, done by men and or straight men, and then you're like, oh wait, I think I'm attracted to girls. That makes me straight. Oh man, that means there's a higher chance of me, being a rapist. Oh, I hate this stuff. I don't want to think about this stuff because that's horrible, and I don't want to know. I don't want to discover that that's something that I have some impulse toward because it's in my brain.
I mean,
there's a
but
chance.
also,
There's some fucking
like,
horrible
I'm
shit like
biased
that.
towards that because that's mostly like trauma think, right?
Yeah.
It's simplifying a concept and not understanding the nuance of it, which is like the hallmark of what trauma is. So learning to see the complexities of life and situations and the nuances has led to is like easily the strongest like weapon against trauma, and
Yeah.
also has been like the big thing that made me not feel like that anymore.
No, yeah. Like when I talk about myself when it comes to this stuff, it's a lot of this is past tense. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, myself. It's just I know that there's a lot of people listening right now that are like in their
Which is
early
why I
mid
said that.
20s. Yeah, and it's not past tense for them. It's still not past tense, even if they're older. There's some aspects of this might not be, something they've overcome or understood yet about what motivates a lot of this, at least in my opinion. But the only reason I guess I would put more weight on that opinion that is mine is because I saw those things and I've actively worked toward overcoming them, and it's benefited me immensely. It's interesting. Sorry, I'm getting like lost in thought now about this. It's like opening up new stupid associations in my dumb brain of other things that I'm trying to keep on track of. Because there was like another subject I kind of wanted to bring up, but I don't know if it's necessarily associated.
Well, do it, and I can say you're stupid if it is.
Oh, okay. Cool. So, because of my ADHD stuff, there's a term that when I first heard it, like I think I heard it originally like 4 years ago or something. I immediately, like, my knee jerk was like, that's stupid. That's dumb. That's just people, making excuses about something. And then, I realized once I like peeled back a lot of my post hoc rationalizing of stuff to be blind to a certain aspect of myself. That thing was the term time blindness, right? I don't know how familiar any of you guys are with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a new term to me.
yeah, time blindness, right? It got memed for a little bit because people were saying, "Oh, so now we're calling people being late a disability," and but no, it's like this, and there's actually like theories on why it occurs, and it's usually associated with ADHD, but I don't think it's exclusive in any way. But it's this thing where if you where you stop intuitively being able to keep track of time, like in some kind of like just automatic way, like your brain and your body's ability to kind of sense the passage of time is significantly dampened, and so even your conception of how time works is affected. So I can't tell you how many times I thought in my head, oh, my wife or, girlfriend at the time said, oh, we're leaving in 10 minutes. Do you have everything you need? And in my mind, I look around, I think, yeah, it looks about right. And then I see I'm in my socks and I haven't put on my shoes. And then I see my shoes are over there. And then I think, oh, well, all I have left is to put on my shoes. And so then I would be like, yeah, everything's ready. I just got to put on my shoes. And then, it would become like the time to go. And I'd be like, okay. And then I put on my shoes. And then I'd realize there was like 3 other things that I forgot about because I didn't consider them once I saw the step 1, put on shoes. And I thought, that's the one, that's all I have left. And so it would make me like forget stuff like that, or it would be the same thing as like if I say, oh, just give me 5 minutes, and then like 45 minutes go by. Like, it's not even like to accomplish a task or whatever I'm like hyper focusing on. It's not even like I'm gonna tell them 5 minutes, but I'm actually gonna just ignore them, ha ha ha. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like legitimately I thought, oh yeah, I could do this quick. I could do it fast. I could do it in like 5 minutes.
That's like its own thing, though. That's not necessarily time blindness. That's you being unable to see like the 7 steps in front of you, and you're so excited that and I'm using this in like. Mm-hmm.
No, but that's what when they discuss time blindness, it's often described that way, as like losing yourself in activities that you literally stop. You stop tracking time, in any way. Like, and so then you don't want to be late to something. Say it's something important. It's 8 o'clock. You have to be to it. You know it's important. You want to do it, and it's like 7 o'clock, or let's just say it's 6:30. I'll think in my head, I'm just gonna do this like for like 45 minutes, and then I'll start doing it, and like it'll be 2 hours, and I'm late, and I didn't even think to check anymore. It didn't feel, and then when I snap out of it, I'm like, oh shit, it's been 2 hours, but it felt like it's only been an hour or less, and I'm like, no fucking way, and I caused myself a significant amount of stress, and because obviously were I cognizant, I would have been like, oh no, fuck that, I gotta stop, let's go, I can't miss this. But it's just, one of the theories that I found interesting pertaining to that is that it has to do with like your heartbeat and your brain's a bit like, there's ideas that the way your body keeps track of the passage of time is your brain's connection to your heartbeat and the amount of beats that have gone by. And it's like this idea that there's like this sort of internal clock that gives you like a very rudimentary understanding of if it's been an hour or 2 hours, or if it's been 5 minutes or 30 minutes of time. And that maybe people, they talk about how many people with ADHD have some kind of difference there, like some kind of whatever synapses, whatever information regarding like heartbeat to brain and that kind of intuitive or automatic timekeeping response is like not there. Or is like a lot more dampened. Because like I saw another person that I found pretty fun. There was some other ADHD, like, I don't know, it was on TikTok or something. They talked about a little bit, and it's like her and her husband or something, but they said something kind of funny. They jokingly said they solved time blindness. Because he was telling, the wife was like, yeah, whenever I say, yeah, just give me 5, like, you have 5 minutes to do this, I'm just thinking, 5 minutes, wow, that's a long time. 5 minutes, oh, I can do so many things at 5 minutes. That's a long time, 5 minutes. And then obviously it's not, and they fucking don't hurry up, they don't have the expediency, or they get distracted by other things as well. But then when he told her, 5 minutes is 300 seconds or something like that, and when she thought about it in seconds format, that made her like, that gave her a feeling of like, oh, that's not a lot of time.
That already is making me think about it way differently.
Yeah, 300 seconds, that's nothing. And so then, like, they were like, oh, we solved time blindness. Like, maybe you have to reconceptualize it or something. But,
that's like 12 feet or 3 washing machines.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, that there might be some issues with that. And that's why, like, a lot of I have to keep a
Is
lot
it
of
time
alarms.
blindness then, or is it just a divergent way of perceiving? Because if you're
Well,
always
yeah, I
thinking
mean, it
5
might not be
minutes, you don't actually
blindness,
know what
yeah.
5 minutes is.
But like yeah, because 5 minutes is like a thing we've like, yeah. There's like a
But
a
then you say
connection
300
between, yeah.
seconds, and someone else is just like, "What do you mean 300 seconds? What's that?"
Like,
Like
why
they
would you
can't
say it
gauge
like that? Why
300.
would you
Yeah,
say
they
300
can't gauge
seconds?
300 seconds,
But they can
but you
gauge
can,
5 minutes.
and you can't gauge 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So maybe you're just using the wrong definition to perceive things.
Maybe
That's why.
it could be something like that. I don't know, because like my daughter, she got diagnosed ADHD and she has this issue too. And she feels really bad when it happens, and I see it. I see it, and I recognize it, and I relate to it, and I'm like, and that's why I don't get like as like annoyed about that stuff, because I know it's like largely unintentional in many instances, because I'll see the shock in her eyes. Like I'll tell her, okay, we need to leave in like 10 minutes. I should be saying 600 seconds or something. And so then I would
genuinely, right? Because when you have an ADHD brain, it's usually like a quote unquote chipmunk brain, right? You're very easily distracted by like new things.
Mhm.
So, in my opinion, like the way I perceive it is someone that's normally just not necessarily more energy, but like faster. Like there's just things work in faster intervals. So it's hard to perceive 30 minutes, but it's a lot easier to perceive seconds times or however many minutes that was.
The other idea too, about why this occurs, at least with ADHD, I don't know in other situations, is because
Like imagine 30 minutes
Okay.
or what's 1800 seconds.
Yeah, I know. Anything when you make it seconds, it just sounds like that.
Yeah, 30
A lot
minutes
less.
seems like kind of small to me, but 1800 seconds seems like okay, I can parse out what I can do in how many seconds.
No,
And I don't
yeah.
even have ADHD.
I don't know if I can parse it out, but it sounds sooner, for some reason.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is, shit, because you got lost in a thought and then
Sorry.
you interrupted, but I don't remember what I was saying. I don't care about you interrupting. I just,
You're talking about your
if you can remember
daughter,
for me.
how you're not.
Oh yeah, I
You're
don't get
talking about how
mad.
you wanna
Yeah,
play your
yeah.
daughter.
Like, so, because I'll tell her like 10 minutes, and then she'll be like, okay, okay, and she's like, on her tablet, or she's drawing something that she's working on, or she's reading a book that she's really enjoying at that moment. And so she likes to read a lot of fiction. And so then I'll come back, and she just like hasn't done it. Like she hasn't, no shoes aren't on, things aren't put away, whatever. And I'll be like, it's time to go. And then she'll just be like, oh no. And then like she'll like start like scrambling to do the stuff. Or she'll be like, okay, I'll hurry up. And then like she's like panicking and she's like trying to move fast, and my wife's like, come on, we gotta go. And she's like, okay, and she's getting like overwhelmed. But the look on her face when I tell her it's time, it's that like it's almost like a look of surprise. Like she's like, wait, that was 10 minutes? Like what? I just like, no, like that was too fast. I didn't, and I know that feeling incredibly well. And also, the thing that would happen with days almost too. That's why I was always procrastinating with a lot of projects at school and things, because like they'd be like, oh, it's due in 2 weeks, and in my mind I'm like, 2 weeks? That's like a lifetime. That's so long. And then it would just drift off. It would just, and I wouldn't remember that project existed until like at least 2 days before, and then somebody in class would be like, hey, did you do the thing? It's due in 2 days. And I'd be like, wait, when did like a week go by? Like what the fuck? Like constantly the issue. But the another of the theories or ideas regarding it has to do with like the ADHD brain, or whatever kind of brain that does this, thinking a lot faster about the process, and so then they make the mistake of almost like projecting their ability to process the information out to the world around them. So and then their way, like their conception of time. So it'll just be like, oh yeah, all I have to do is this, and that. I can do that. And like in their mind, when they say I can do that with this time or whatever, it's already done. Like they already did it, but they haven't done it. And it reminds me of a lot of this.
It's like taking off a checkbox before you even do the damn thing.
You're like, oh, I can do those. Those are going to be done. And then you just forget about them because they're done. They're not.
I haven't done it yet, but like if I started doing it, I would be almost done. So I'm basically already halfway done.
Yeah, shit like that.
I'm rounding up, so it's already basically done, and you haven't even done
Yeah,
it.
it sounds kind of familiar, yeah.
Yeah,
agree.
it's funny. And I've done that plenty of fucking times. Oh yeah, I mean it's not great. It causes a ton of fucking problems for a lot of people. That's why I have like alarms for fucking everything now. I have to. Like my wife's so used to it that like she'll be like, anytime I tell her, just give me a minute, I'll do it right now. She tells me, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna forget. And instead of being like, no, I won't, I know myself, so I go, I have to like pull myself out of whatever like focus hole I'm in, and I'm like, it hurts because it almost like hurts my brain to do it, and then I go, yep, and I'll get up and I'll go do it because I'm like, the thing's gonna happen, the thing where I just, and it even happens for things that I want or am looking forward to, like say a meal, right? If I ordered an Uber Eats or something, and I'm hungry, and I really want this thing, this chicken or something, and then it'll say like on my phone, it'll say, 10 minutes till the driver gets here, and I'll just put my phone down and I'll be like, okay, I'll just check it in like 5, see where they're at. Never check it. Only notice the phone because it's vibrating, or whatever, and then I see, and and as soon as it starts vibrating, I don't think it's the drive. No, I think, why is my phone vibrating? What is this that distracted me from what I was doing? And then I look, and then I'm like, oh shit, and then I have to like scramble, and they've already like sent me a text message before that telling me they're almost there. It's crazy. Sometimes I keep my phone a little further out of my reach for alarms to wake me up, because
I'm horrible with waking up and alarms.
Yeah, I have to put it like, I have to put it to where I have to like really reach to grab it or even get up. Because if I hit the button, I don't fall back asleep usually. That's not really the issue about like falling back asleep. What happens to me is I'll start like thinking about what's happening today. What are the things that have to happen today? And then I'll be like, yeah, oh yeah, that's yeah. I'll be like, oh no, not that. And then like, yeah, like it'll be like 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes by the time I like, and so then like I'll remember, I'll be like, I'll realize, oh, I haven't gotten up, and then I get up, and then I'm like, oh shit, because I sat there for like 10, 15 minutes just thinking about all the things that were going to happen that day, and then getting sidetracked in my mind about various aspects of it. It's crazy, man.
I have the issue of getting up because, like, especially if I only have like very little hours of sleep, like say I only have 2 hours of sleep, and I try to get up with an alarm, I will not be able to get up because my brain will be in total delusion mode. Where if I hear my alarm, it's because of, and it's just this fantastical fucking reason that makes absolutely no sense.
Like in a dream state kind of mode?
Yeah, like the hypnagogic.
It'll just like integrate into like the dream or whatever it is that's going on.
It'll integrate with whatever fucking delusional state I'm in because I'm just waking up.
Oh, like so even if you're kind of awake, like you'll still be thinking that sound must be the oven, or that sound
must be the the tinging in the game, and I want it to stop because I'm doing the thing. I'm solving the puzzle. Why isn't it going
It
off?
it starts turning in your mind into like I already got that treasure.
Literally, like I already got the beep. I'm pressing the buttons to make the puzzle go away.
I already pushed the button.
Why isn't the super guardian shutting up and telling me that there's no more treasures anymore?
What's
Like, I'll
happening?
get super annoyed.
You'll be
And then
like
wake up and
frustrated
I'm just
about
like,
this
"What the fuck am I
imaginary
talking
reason.
about?"
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Like
You're
it'll
pissed
be
some
about
imaginary reason.
it'll grab whatever just happened the night before or
Yeah.
a couple nights before, something that happened recently. It'll weave a story and it'll just be totally fucking delusional.
Shut the fuck up, Goofy. Shut up, Donald.
Something literally, it could be like, I don't want to fucking hear it. Like maybe I'll hear the alarm and it's just like, but I healed already. Why is the beep
I already
going
healed.
off?
Why is it? Oh, you mean like the KHB?
Yeah, literally. Like I
You're like,
already
I already
I'm healing
healed.
right now.
I just
Like
took a high potion,
imagine the frustration of hearing the red beeping because you're low health,
and then it
but
still
knowing you've
keeps
already
going
used 3
in the game. Yeah,
potions,
yeah.
and you keep
It's still
using
like
more
it's like full
potions, and
green
it still
health,
keeps
and it's still
going.
making noises.
That is
In other
literally
games
how
where
the
like
delusion
the
works.
red heartbeat thing happens, or like the panting noise, like
Yeah,
but you're like
but
full health.
that is a
yeah.
great example of how a delusion like that would.
Yeah, and you're like, fuck, I already healed. I already used a stim pack. What's going on?
But it's just so much frustration of I'm doing the thing right. Why isn't it working?
It's interesting that happens to you with alarms because I've had that happen whenever I previously used a radio as an alarm, but
Oh, like
never
music?
since I switched to an actual alarm. Yeah,
Oh, so you can't do music? It'll just blend in or something into your
correct.
whatever's
I
going on.
have to have.
It'll
Yeah,
be
I have to
anyways.
have an actual full-on like alarm. It has to be jarring, or else it's not gonna work. So it's interesting.
I-
Shadow should have that happen with the alarm.
Okay, different problems.
Any
Delay us
noise
all.
will do that for me. But if I have an adequate amount of sleep, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
See, that happened to me even if I had an adequate amount of sleep. So,
What if it's a song
Yeah.
you hate? Have you ever tried making it a song you hate?
yep, still happened.
Oh, you did try? Okay, I was wondering if you made something that you find really obnoxious or annoying.
Oh, it happened. So here's the thing: it happened even with just the open radio.
Oh, like random radio station.
Yes.
Yeah,
Complete with commercials and everything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that's interesting. Huh. Meanwhile,
It got so bad, I eventually had to switch to an actual alarm to get that to not happen. And it.
How
kinda
many
sucked.
times did it
Not-
happen? What? Why? Because you didn't like having to be woken up in a more jarring way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
much.
that makes sense. So it's like either if it's too soothing, or it could just be blended in with the static, you'll just lose it. So it has to be like like that, right? It's like
Yeah, it
kind of
has to be the
bullshit.
super jarring
do
and
you remember-
obnoxious thing.
I don't even think a lot of people have those anymore. But the fucking the alarm clocks, everyone just uses their phone now. But like when you had an alarm clock, the red digital alarm clock, you didn't have the cool choice of like, oh, my alarm's gonna be dee or whatever. Like your alarm was always like just-
Yeah, see, and for one who has hearing that's roughly as sensitive as that of a dog's, I tried to avoid that because they fucking hurt.
yeah, but it wakes you up though, right? Yes.
But I ended up having to nonetheless do so because the alternative did not work at all. Yeah.
Luckily, later on, they made it so you can lower the actual volume of the. But
Yeah, unfortunately, I had one of the really, really super old ones that did not have any kind of low control for that.
Yeah, those shits got you up, man. There was no choice, especially if you had it like on like something where you have to get up. You can't sleep through that shit. It's fucking
Yep.
nuts.
Correct.
Unless you're Shadow, apparently, then you can sleep through it. Then you're
seemingly.
half asleep through it, getting mad because like the security door won't open.
Yeah,
Seemingly
literally,
so, yeah.
like you got it. You already understand.
Yeah, like depending on the sound, I'm assuming something like it'll be
Like,
like
it could be the same exact sound. It just depends on like
Yeah.
the type of media I've recently consumed.
That's really funny. You're like, oh shit, no, the monsters spotted me. I have to run. I have to to hide.
No, but like it's not you're afraid. It's just this immense feeling of frustration. Like, how
No,
did
I
they
know.
see me?
Yeah, yeah. Like if when you're playing a
says
game
I'm
and
hidden. How
and
did
you're
they
just
see?
pissed. You're like, bullshit.
Oh, I get so pissed if I
Fucking
get
bullshit.
woken up.
I
If
was
I get
stealth.
woken up during like without adequate sleep, oh, I'm so fucking pissed.
It's funny.
Got it. So if Shadow had my sleeping habits, we would all never hear the end of it. That's what I'm hearing right now.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm not you. I don't know.
Put it this way, Shadow, I have not successfully slept through a night undisturbed in like 8 years now. So
Oh, I've done that like pretty consistently. Like I do that all the time.
No,
you wake up every 20 to 30 minutes. Just every
No.
single night.
No,
No.
I wake up undisturbed.
No,
like,
the opposite.
Every day.
Yeah. They sleep. They're like
Pretty much.
you sleep like the dead, right, Shadow?
I like almost have never have problems sleeping. It's like it's only dreams that I usually have issues.
Don't you have more problems like waking up when you want to wake? Like just waking up is harder. Like just being able to wake up.
Just physically waking up is hard.
Because you've said that you've had like lucid dreams where like you're like I want to wake up now and you can't.
Yeah, but like going to sleep, it's very easy, and staying asleep, yeah, I've had no issues whatsoever.
Oh man, that's so funny.
In fact,
That's
I'm
scary,
probably
though,
more of
yeah.
a somniac than an insomniac.
That sounds
So yeah, I've had no end of issues doing that. So
man, that sounds sketchy though. That does sound scary. I know you've described it, the whole like being awake, like being in a nightmare and being like, I want to wake up now, I want to wake up now, I want to wake up now, and your body's just trapped you in the dream.
Your body's just like, nope.
Nope, you're
Good
staying in this dream, and you're like,
by the
no,
way, if the
no,
monster
wake up,
gets you,
wake up,
you'll
wake
feel
up,
it too. So keep running.
wake up, wake up, wake up. Like
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
that's fucking
Oh,
so. But you know you're in a dream because like.
Oh yeah, I'll know.
Yeah, you'll notice that weird kind of fogginess to it. It's like being trapped in Silent Hill, some shit.
Well, it depends. Like sometimes it'll be like foggy, sometimes it'll be like crystal clear.
Yeah.
But you'll just realize you're in a dream.
Yeah. You're like, wait a minute, I can't fly. That's stupid. Meanwhile, I'm like the opposite. When I have a lucid dream, I usually like I've had countless dreams where I fly, or I don't fly. I float. I don't fly like Superman. I float like a balloon. And I've had so many dreams where I go, "Oh, I'm dreaming. Time to float." I don't know why I go floating, but I always float. And then I've had so many dreams where I'm floating, and then I could feel myself hit the ceiling of the room I'm in, and I'm like trying to navigate, like almost like swimming through the air. I'm trying to navigate getting around the rooms because I'm floating around, and I get annoyed. I'm all frustrated. Or when I realize I'm dreaming, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go do stuff, and like I only get like 1 minute or something, or whatever time it actually is to do wacky shit, and then I wake up and I get pissed, and I can feel myself waking up, like slipping out of it, and I'm like, no, stay here, it's better here. Don't take me back. I get like a literal feeling of just like, don't take me back. I like it here. Like I'm getting dragged away. And I'll wake up annoyed because I'll be like, oh, fuck. Why couldn't I just stay there a bit longer? That's interesting. Or, I don't know if anybody here's dealt with this one when it comes to, I know we're like totally off topic at this point, but have you ever had a dream that was cool? Or there was a problem and you were about to solve it, you're solving the problem, or you're accomplishing the mission or the task or whatever it is you're trying to do in the dream, and then the dream ends before like you get to finish the narrative? I'll wake up so fucking annoyed by that.
Just last night, actually.
I hate that shit. I'll be like, why the fuck couldn't I like finish fighting the thing, or couldn't I finish like figuring out the mystery like first? And then I was just sitting there like, it's like an episode to a show I'm never gonna see the conclusion to. Like all the files got deleted and everything got destroyed, and the best I could do is come up with an ending, but that's not the same as experiencing the ending as it was intended.
Honestly, hurts even more because like dreams are sometimes just like way more interesting than real life. Like you feel like there's actually like a purpose to what
Yeah,
you do.
yeah. It feels more important in many ways. Yeah, it feels like you know what it is. It's almost like I'm getting like dopamine in the dream.
Yeah.
I'm getting like this dopamine rush of like, oh, I have a task and I'm gonna do it, and this is what's gonna happen, and it'll just be whatever scenario, whatever the fuck it is, and then yeah, I'll wake up and then I'll be like, I just want to go back to it. There's been like times where I don't do this anymore, but like when I was younger, I would actively be like, maybe I'll just go back to sleep. It'll continue. I want to go back to sleep so I can finish. I want to see where this was going. Where was this going? And I'll try to go, but then I'll just have a different dream and a dream, and I'll just be like, fuck, that was stupid. Didn't work. I think it's only worked like once. It's worked like once, twice in my life, where like I think I was able to go back to whatever I was doing. And part of it is like being self-aware enough to know that you forget the stuff you dream about, like the details kind of just float away. That's why a lot of people write shit down. But while they're still there, I try to think about it. I'll just be really actively thinking about all the details I can scrap up about the dream. And if I do that well enough, I can sometimes keep that dream as a memory. But not always. Yeah.
You don't keep all of your dreams as memories?
No, that's just you. Even though, yeah, that's just you. I know you can, yeah. You're over in dreamland being fucking, what do you call it? You're nobody self.
Okay. You don't remember all the people you've talked to who've given
No,
you
that's what I'm
valuable
saying.
insight into your life?
You're
that
like
changed
fucking
your life
Roxas.
in myriads of ways.
You're like, this
Only
isn't
to wake up
real.
and realize
What do
they
you
didn't
mean none of
exist,
this is
and they were just
real?
unconscious. That's just me.
The person on the other side of this mirror is real, but I'm not. Ah! But yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay. I don't know. You guys want to chime in? Any thoughts? Any stories you want to share on this matter? Any of you?
Only thing I have to say about that is you people dream.
Well, you didn't get a chance
Every
to,
night.
huh?
Every night, friend. Every night.
The curse of both, right? There's always that curse of too much and too little.
Indeed, there is.
Too bad it's not like a virtue you can just decide and actively work toward. There's really little you could probably do, unless there are methods. But I'm sure you tried everything, right, Mortis, to improve your sleep.
I have, correct. And basically none of it works.
Not even meds, huh?
Nope.
Yeesh.
In fact, historically, I had to drink coffee or the like before bed because, yes, I do the inverted
Oh, yeah.
up or downer thing.
Oh,
or
cool.
historically, I did
Yeah.
anyway.
That wouldn't be so bad. I try that technique for me because coffee makes me really sleepy, but it also makes me incredibly nauseous. So it wouldn't really work too well. I'll just vomit. in my
That
sleep.
quit working many years ago.
Oh, yeah. Have you tried again though? Because you might have built up a tolerance that you no longer have.
Oh, I've tried again, yes, over the years, and
Fucking-
it quit working. So
So now you chug an energy drink and what? Nothing happens. Not even. You get the energy, or you just get nothing.
no, they're pretty much pointless. At this point, I drink them for their flavor more than anything else.
Their flavor. It tastes like shit. That's funny. All right. Well, I guess that's it. As far as that topic goes. Okay. Well, let me look at chat just in case there was some stuff that was said that I might have missed. Nope. Nothing crazy. I do see Don had mentioned the heartbeat hawk pulse makes sense. And you can't find your own pulse, so you think maybe that's why you can't sense time. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to look into that actually a little bit more. I've been interested in the subject of this term, this idea of time blindness, as they call it. Yeah, I want to learn a little bit more about that. It's really interesting. Okay, guys. Well, thanks a lot for joining me. Thank you for being here as usual. if you want to support my streams, please support me on Patreon or just PayPal me. Any donations like that are always useful. They go toward whatever subscriptions I use, like, I don't know, whatever subscriptions I use to, like, go into read stuff or look at stuff. Like, I have an Audible account, and I'll just, like, listen to, like, psych shit sometimes, or they give me, like, credit every month, so sometimes I'll buy, like, a book about some kind of neurodiversity shit. Usually I don't find anything particularly interesting, but sometimes I get some fun gems in there, and references. Stuff like that, and other things, you know, just basic shit like gas money, whatever else. And also paying for other services that I'm doing for the NPO that's taking fucking forever. My god, I have the snail mail shit. It's fucking insane. Alright. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk later, or you guys, whatever the fuck it is we do. As usual, when day is dark, always remember, happy day.